Lesson 2.6, Estimate Quotients. In today's lesson, we are going to discuss how you can use compatible numbers to estimate quotients of fractions and mixed numbers. Let's go ahead and get started. In this problem, I have two mixed numbers, and in order for me to make an estimate about what my quotient is going to be, I need to round the mixed numbers into compatible numbers. So I'm going to take a look at the very first problem, which is 21 and 3/10. I see my whole number is 21, and I have to ask myself, is 3/10 going to be closer to 21? Is it closer to a half? Or is it going to make this 21 become a 22? And so since I only have 3/10 and it's less than a half, I'm going to say that my number will be 21. I'm then going to bring down my division sign. I'm going to do the same thing here. I have a 2, and so I'm going to take a look at the fraction 5/6. Is this closer to a whole number? Is it closer to a half? Or is it going to be closer to the actual 2? Well, I see 5/6 is more than a half. It's actually going to be pretty close to a whole number. And so this 2 and 5/6 is going to become a 3. And now I can go ahead and divide. 21 divided by 3 equals 7. And so my estimate would be 7. Let's take a look at another example. 35 and 7/9 divided by 3 2/3. So again, I'm going to take a look at my 35, and I'm going to look at the number next to it. Is that number closer to a whole, a half, or 35? Well, in this case, it's closer to a whole, so I'm going to round up and make this number 36. Bring down the division sign, and now I'm going to look at my next mixed number, 3 2/3. I see this 3, and I'm going to look at the 2/3. Again, is it closer to a whole, a half, or closer to the 3? In this case, again, it's closer to a whole number, so I'm going to round this number to 4. And now I can divide. 36 divided by 4 equals 9. And so my estimate would be 9. What you're going to do is open up to the next page available in your math notebook, and you're going to title it How to Estimate Fractions. We're going to fold our paper in half to create 2 columns, and we're going to trace that line down the middle. Once you have that, we're going to copy down step 1. Round the fractions or mixed numbers using benchmarks. Benchmarks are 1/2, wholes, any fraction that we use for comparison. And our example is going to be 3 3/4 divided by 1/2. Once you have that copied down, continue to hit play. All right, so again, I'm going to take a look at this 3, and I'm going to look at the fraction next to it. Am I going to say it's closer to a whole, a half, or am I going to keep it a 3? Well, 3/4 is close to a whole, so I'm going to make this number a 4. Bring down the division sign, and 1/2 is an actual benchmark, so I'm going to keep it as 1/2. And so my new problem will look like this, 4 divided by 1/2. Once you have this copied down, close the box and continue to hit play. All right, so now we're going to go to step 2. Now the rules apply for any operation that you use when it comes to estimating with fractions or mixed numbers. So step 2 simply says complete the operation, whether it's add, subtract, multiply, or divide. In this case, I'm dividing, and so I'm going to use the keep, change, flip. Because I have a 1/2, I'm going to go ahead and solve that. So if I write this out, 4 becomes a 1 and I keep it. This changes to multiplication, and I'm going to flip the 1/2. And so when I go to solve it, my estimate is going to be 8 because 4 times 2 equals 8 and 1 times 1 equals 1. Once you have this copied down, continue to hit play. You're going to copy down the essential question. There is no test prep question for today, so you can skip that part. The essential question for today, how can you use compatible numbers to estimate quotients of fractions and mixed numbers? Remember, you need to write this in paragraph form using complete sentences. I look forward to discussing this with you in class.